Thank you, Pam. It's so encouraging. Um, in terms of types of research, can you kind of outline for us a little bit about the types of studies that the community can participate in and how easy it is for them to take part? So if anyone's kind of watching and they're thinking, oh, I'm not sure about research, what can they do and how might they take part in that?
Sure. So we have clients who do all kinds of research. So focus groups, interviews, surveys, online communities. A lot of things are, especially now post-COVID, are remote. So you can do a Zoom interview from your kitchen and contribute your expertise, that way. And that's pretty easy. It just, takes an hour of your time and you share your experience and that's, a good way to participate. Some studies are in person, and researchers, who do face-to-face research are, they endeavor to make it as easy as possible for, patients to get there, to participate in, say, a usability study on site at a particular location. Is not always easy, but they try to go to the, patient's community or, some place where it's easy for them to be there. But there is a lot more remote research now. So those are more like market research type studies, and those are pretty easy, easy to participate in for the most part. We would send you an email, and if you go through and answer the questions and are available at a particular time, you go ahead and do your interview, and then we pay you at the end. So that's a pretty seamless way to go about it. For clinical research, it's obviously a little bit more complicated. A lot of trials are not in your local community. But there are companies that will help with logistics and help with travel arrangements and reimbursement and so on and so forth. So that makes it, a little bit nicer for patients to be able to participate and stay in trials. There are also, in the last few years, decentralized trials are more and more, I guess, popular. And if they could be done in the community, there might be like a mobile nursing unit that goes to a patient's home or community and collects data there. So there are various ways, some of them a little more complicated than others, but we get requests for all kinds of things. We have clothing manufacturers looking to make, usable clothing for people with mobility issues, all types of devices and wearables and ideas for products that, that people are coming up with. So there are a lot of ways to contribute. I would say most of what comes to us, we have a lot of remote research opportunities, and that enables us to make those offerings to patients and caregivers all over the world, which is nice.
Absolutely. So a lot of these are opportunities for people cross-condition. They're not necessarily specific to a particular disease. They could be open to a wide range of people. Would that be fair to say?
It depends. It really depends on what the specific client. A lot of them are disease specific, but some of them are looking for people, for example, with mobility issues, people who use, a cochlear implant or, something like that. So that, some of them are a little broader, but a lot of the requests that we get are disease specific. So they're looking for, to speak with 10 patients with hemophilia A in this particular, age group. So it's, it really depends on what they're developing. And if it is, for example, a product for people with mobility issues, that would cross a broader spectrum of patients than, some of the other requests.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And Lee, you mentioned, you touched on it a little bit earlier about patient registries. So could you just explain the difference in a patient registry and then participating in research? And can patients do both, or are they kind of isolated activities?
Of course, yeah. So a patient registry is a place to store detailed health information of individuals who have a specific condition. So not just NCBRS, it can be any condition. But for rare syndromes like ours, they are essential in connecting the patients and the researchers to advance the knowledge and treatments. They look back at what was done without dictating a treatment. And a registry can also allow researchers to develop an official worldwide number of documented cases. Research is to learn more and to develop new methods of healthcare. Many types of research studies exist. I know Pam has touched on a few, but you've got clinical trials, test specific interventions, you've got treatments, strategies. There's loads of different ways that you can take part. Other studies, they use interviews and surveys as well, to understand health and behavior. And yes, they can do both. I believe that a patient registry goes hand in hand with research into finding new treatments and improving care plans.
It's interesting because I think that's definitely something I've seen change a lot over the last few years, is that ownership from patient groups to take more control of patient registries. Before, they were often owned by clinical teams or an isolated research team with no kind of correspondence in between. But more than ever now, we're hearing of the groups establishing these and the data going out the way, which is, really as it should be, and much more of an empowered position to be in. So absolutely, Parrot, like you say, it's the best way to position, to leverage yourself to be attractive for future research. Absolutely. So I think it's great to see more education happening around that. Most definitely. So Taylor, from your experience, can you just outline a little bit in terms of the advantages of working with an organisation like Rare Patient Voice, where you have this sort of conduit to go through for research?
Of course. So I think that working with a company like Rare Patient Voice is so valuable from the foundation perspective of a patient advocacy group, but also on the individual level. Speaking from the individual level first, it makes it so much easier because the research comes to you rather than you having to seek it out. Like, when you are in a disease space, like I am in adrenoleukodystrophy, where thankfully there is a significant amount of research as compared to other rare diseases, it can actually be difficult to keep up with all of the studies. Like 5 years ago, I never thought I would say that, but thankfully we've had a lot more research.
A great position to be in.
Yeah, definitely. But I have realized that there are a lot of companies who are entering the ALD space, and I haven't been able to keep up with them because there's not really one place that just, lists everything out. But when you're signed up for Rare Patient Voice, and when a client partners with Rare Patient Voice, and there's a study that you may be eligible for, you'll get an email, and I think a text as well, telling you that there's a study that you may be eligible for. So it's just such a good way to keep up with the opportunities so you can be involved, but also just on a holistic level, more be able to see the whole landscape of research going on in your disease. From the foundation side of things, so my nonprofit organization, Remember the Girls, is a partner, and I know we're going to be speaking a little bit later about the affiliate program, but the people in our community who are carriers or affected females with X-linked diseases have historically been excluded from a lot of research on X-linked diseases because we were long thought to be just carriers and not be affected. For many of these X-linked diseases, we know that that's not true. And for ALD, the disease that I'm a carrier of, about 90% of us do eventually get symptoms of ALD. But like I said, we have been excluded from most research for so long. So the people who are in my organization are definitely really eager to be in research after not being able to be part of it for a long time. So it makes it exciting to, be able to send our community members to a place where they can get updates about studies that they might participate in. Because as an organization that covers many different rare diseases, there's over 500 different X-linked diseases, it would be impossible for us to keep up with every research study, that's out there. But Rare Patient Voice, it just makes it so much easier as an organization and as an individual to just keep up with the landscape of your disease or diseases, and also be able to participate and be compensated for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Taylor. Can I ask, Pam, just to kind of go back to this element a little bit, in terms of you deciding which projects you work with, do you have a community and then you go looking for research projects that you can match the community, or does it work the other way around, or is it a little bit of both, when you have these sort of partner organizations?
It's a little bit of both. So we have, as I mentioned, we have clients who come to us with a specific condition or a specific idea about who they want to talk to. And if we don't already have access to the community internally, we will then work with our referral partners to try to find those patients and those caregivers, or go to events and things like that. the other side of the coin is a lot of people sign up with us excited to participate in research. We might not yet have a study for them. And then, so they're in our community and, and then maybe it's a year, maybe it's 3 years, then we do have a study for them and we can reach out to them. So we build in kind of both ways based on client need, but also just by going to, the way that we started was by going to events. So we would go to events all over the country. Some of them are disease specific, others are they cross a lot of rare diseases. So people can sign up, for something that we maybe never had a request for before, but then, in a little bit of time, we know that we probably will. So we try to build, both ways. And then we have our patient advocacy team, which is amazing. And they have, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too much, but they have connected with thousands of referral partners all over the world, including Taylor and Lee, who work with their own communities to help bring patients to Rare Patient Voice and give them opportunities to participate in research. And the affiliate program Taylor mentioned, we call it a referral program, but it's the same thing. We have people all over the world who they may post, we can provide posts or, a little background information on Rare Patient Voice. And then we provide a unique link. And when they share that with their communities and people sign up through the link, we will then donate $10 back to the organization, which on the surface does not seem like a lot of money, but we do have organizations who have earned $10,000 in a year. They may have a large community and they post a couple times a year on their Facebook page, and people, the one thing that I've realized, I've been, in research my whole career. And so I always think people know, yes, of course you can be involved in research, but that's not true. Mm-hmm. Every place we go, every event, people say, well, why would someone want to hear from me? Why do they want me to be involved in research, or what would I do? And so, it is nice to be able to go out to these smaller communities through, through our research or through our referral partners and get, the word out, like, this is what research is. And this is why, you're an expert and this is why you need to be involved. And so, I think it's not as well known, I guess, as people think. And so the referral program is really fantastic for us because, it's a trusted resource. They see, okay, this is from, someone that I trust and I, that cares about my well-being, and they trust this program. So then people decide to sign up and they're like, wow, this was interesting. It was fun. I learned about something new that was going on, or I got to share, why I liked and didn't like this product, whatever it is. They come out of it feeling so valued and heard, which is really what our goal is. So that's really a great way for us to kind of connect with new people. And we've done, like I said, we started out with doing it, through going to actual live events, and we still do that. But the referral partner program is really amazing to us because it's a level of trust that it's hard to develop with individually. If I just went up to someone in Taylor's group, they'd be like, yeah, okay, what I mean? But if they might hear it from Taylor or hear it from Lee, it's a different thing.
So just one thing I wanted to go back to there is, so really, I guess, even if somebody feels there isn't anything happening currently in their area at the moment, that shouldn't be a deterrent for them to sign up, because actually, like you say, that's changing all of the time and something new could come. And then the other thing is, let's sort of dive into the affiliate program a little bit more. So what you're alluding to there, I think, is that there's a possibility of making kind of passive income for organizations through this scheme. So how would an organization sign up for that? And is that a case of that they would make that sum if the person fills in a survey, or just by being referred and they sign up? Or can you just kind of dive into that a little bit in more detail?
Sure. So you can contact us directly. I think even I'll have to check on our website. There is I think a link where you can go to get information about the referral program. I think somebody can put that in the chat for me, but it's or send me an email directly and I will put you in touch with Jennifer, who is on our team and leads that program. Once she gets the information that, you're interested in participating, she'll send you the unique link. She'll send you some sample posts, which you can use, or you can do your own. And then when people sign up, so they may never choose to participate. So you can sign up and you might never, there's some people who, for example, don't like doing interviews, but they're happy to do surveys, as an example. So let's say they get a lot of invitations for interviews and they never do it, never want to do that. They don't have to, but the organization still gets that donation back to them because that person signed up. Of course, we want people to participate, but we can't, it's not always perfect for everybody. It's not always, the right timing. So, we understand people are busy. It's when you're living with a rare disease, there's a lot going on. So, so a time, for an interview might not work for you, but, we're still happy for you to sign up, because at some point down the road, you'll want to participate, you'll have the time, and you'll do it. And so, we're happy to have anyone sign up. So to your question was about whether people get the, if the organization gets the donation, whether or not you ever participate. It's just for people, once they sign up with us through that specific link, we donate the money back to the organization.
Fantastic. Thank you, Pam. Lee and Taylor, I want to come to both of you because I know, as obviously said, that you're both part of that referral program. So Lee, if we come to you first, how has that worked for you as an organization?
Yeah, it's been great. As Pam mentioned, Rare Patient Voice will give you the materials needed to, to share posts and get our members to sign up, or our communities to sign up. But our experience as an organisation has been great. The ease of signing up to take part is so easy. It couldn't be any more easier to sign up to Rare Patient Voice and take part in it. And obviously you're getting paid to voice your opinion and all, if you do take part in any research studies. And working with Pam and the whole team at Rare Patient Voice, they're just great. Like I said, they will provide you with any text, the resources. We get our partner referral link, and we just share that out across our social media channels, in our email communications. And it's going well.
Fantastic. And how have you had much feedback from patients? You mentioned at the very start about people being concerned about data sharing and things like that. Have you managed to work with the community to kind of allay any of those fears that they may have around this?
Again, I think it just goes back to what I previously said. It's all about patience and perseverance and being honest with them, and trying to explain the benefits of taking part in whatever research study you're trying to get them to do.
Yeah. And there's a level of trust because it's coming through you as a trusted source of someone that's vetted this information.
And being a parent as well.
Yeah.
It all helps.
Absolutely. And Taylor, what have your experiences been?
Yeah, our experience, Remember the Girls experience with the Rare Patient Voice referral program has been really positive. As I said, our community is really eager to participate in research, and Pam mentioned that not only do we get a unique referral link, but we also get sample social media posts, so we can share the information. And Rare Patient Voice's website is also really clear, when it comes to data and privacy, and also they have a frequently asked questions section. So it's good to be able to just direct people from our group to those questions. I think sometimes as a patient advocacy leader, posting about a new research thing can be a little tricky, because people can come to you and ask you detailed questions and you feel scared that you're not going to know the answer. But that's why it's so important to go back to the organization or the company and make sure that they have a very strong patient-centric approach to their transparency. One way, is just through the information that they have on their site, but another big way is through attending events and conferences where they actually have these in-person relationships and meetings with patients and other stakeholders in the community as well. Another way that we incentivize people to check out the referral link is just the knowledge that by them signing up, they're making a $10 donation to Remember the Girls. So, obviously our patient advocacy groups need fundraising to continue going. But, our group members are often people who, they might have a lot of expenses on healthcare and things, and they might not be able to give a contribution, but this is a way that they can still give a contribution that's not actually like from their own wallet. And then it also benefits them because, one, they're being involved in research, and two, they're also having opportunities to be compensated directly to them. So I feel like there's just so many benefits. And as Pam said, signing up is one thing, but then participating in studies is another thing. Like, you might get an email of a study and you might not be interested in that topic, or you might just be too busy now or not have the time. And, you have no obligation to be part of that. And you can wait for the next one, or, see if there's something else that you want to be involved in. So I really like the flexibility. Like, it's not like you're signing into some sort of contract of like, I'm going to be in every study. You really get to pick and choose what you want. And that's why, as a patient advocacy leader, why I feel so comfortable like supporting Rare Patient Voice and being a partner with them, just because of their transparency to the patient community. And I just feel like that's so important, especially when it comes to like sensitive health data and stuff like that. As Lee has mentioned a few times, it's just so important to be really clear about those sorts of things and make sure that people participating in research know exactly where their information is going, what it's being used for, how it's being secured, and things of that nature. So it's been a really positive experience overall. And this is reminding me to reshare the referral link because I have
Fantastic. That's so interesting. And I think it's really great that people have that option to opt in and opt out as their time allows, because there is a lot of feeling of like, gosh, if I commit to something, am I really sort of saddled with a big commitment? But actually you can really tailor it to the individual. Fantastic. Thank you so much.